Thank you. Just going back to this 46,000 number again, is that estimate, approximation, the number of accounts or clients or both?
That's the number of accounts.
And how close, excuse me, how close would that be to the number of U.S. clients?
It would be relatively close.
You don't have a better number for the clients than that?
Not today. There are a number of reasons why. Obviously, clients can hold multiple accounts, or accounts can have multiple clients behind them, so there's not a one-to-one mapping. But there's no reason to think you'd get something of a grossly different order of magnitude.
So it's somewhere in the mid-40s probably of the number of clients?
Yeah, I wouldn't like to hazard an exact number, but I think this
Well,
is...
that's not an exact number. That's an approximation. I'm just saying, would it be in the area of the mid-40s probably?
Yeah, I don't have that level of precision today.
Is it as good a number as you got in terms of clients?
Well, we can pull that number out of our systems if we
Well, that'd be great.
go
Would you
back
do
and
that?
do that.
Would you do that?
I can make sure that we work on that.
Okay. Mr. Branson, this is kind of a summary as to what has happened here recently. The last 2 weeks, you've entered into a deferred prosecution agreement with the U.S. in which it admitted facts, the bank, that related to past conduct, accepted responsibility for a violation of U.S. law, paid a $780 million fine, and turned over the names of a very tiny subset of U.S. clients. The president of Switzerland estimated that that number was 250 to 300, and that's if it's 40,000 clients, and you don't want to hazard a number, but it's the best number we got. That would be less than half of 1% of those clients' names so far. Now, you've agreed that you've committed wrongdoing by referring U.S. clients who wanted to hide their assets to outside firms because you had the understanding that these outside advisors would help those clients form offshore companies in order to enable the clients to evade, those are your words, U.S. law. UBS also admitted that its bankers and managers took a range of other actions which actively assisted or otherwise facilitated U.S. taxpayers, again, your words, actively assisted or otherwise facilitated, U.S. taxpayers who are evading U.S. taxes. You agreed in court that acting through your bankers and managers, you, quote, participated in a scheme to defraud the United States of America. Now, you've acknowledged that you schemed with people. Why won't you give us the names of the people with whom you schemed to commit violations of American law?
The issue with the John Doe summons and the production of those names is to go beyond what we've done already, which is to produce information located here in the U.S., and to move to information located in Switzerland and produce that will be a breach of Swiss client confidentiality laws. All
right. So the short answer is that Swiss law, in your judgment, does not allow you to produce more than that small subset of names which you've already produced. Is that the short answer?
Yes.
And if it weren't for Swiss law, would you do it?
We can only live within the legal framework we have today.
If there were no prohibition in Swiss law, would you then give the IRS the name, since you have acknowledged that you participated in a scheme with a large number of people to defraud the United States? If it weren't prohibited by Swiss law, would your bank give us those names?
If there was a framework, and these frameworks will evolve, and if the frameworks evolve, then we'll comply with however that framework evolves. So if the framework evolves to make that appropriate, that would happen. If it doesn't, then it wouldn't.
All right. So that if, are you saying that if it weren't for that, I just can't, I don't know why I can't get direct answers. Your answers are needlessly evasive, it seems to me. If it weren't for the Swiss prohibition, would you be willing to provide those names to the IRS when you have agreed that you participated in a scheme with people to defraud our government? Would you then be willing to supply the names?
If there's a treaty framework,
No treaty framework, just, no treaties, just, you've agreed you participated in a fraud with certain people. And my question is, since you've agreed that you've done that, if it weren't for a prohibition in law and there's no treaty involvement, would you be willing as a bank to give us the names so we could enforce our laws? Would that be something you'd be willing to do, do you think?
well, with respect, all kinds of exchange of information across borders are always going to be subject to a treaty framework or some other bilateral or multilateral framework, and it's
Would
only
you be willing to
within
enter
those
into
frameworks.
would you be willing to enter into an agreement to give us those names?
I mean, we believe that the discussions between the governments is the right way to look at those agreements, and we're very happy that those discussions are underway. We're very supportive of those discussions, and whatever framework evolves out of those discussions will be the one that we comply with.
The last